Hello, friends. On the technology front, it seems the invaders are getting so much top-notch technology that they've started making improvised night vision goggles, combining a night vision camera from an attack drone with operator goggles, which is pretty logical and is because, according to a mill blogger, Z explains, nowadays, the battlefield isn't controlled by a soldier's eyesight, but by a thermal camera installed on a drone that transmits images directly to the fire control system of an artillery battery. Any position where there are people, equipment, batteries, generators, or simply life emits heat and sooner or later will be located. Camouflage, nets, and even a well-built position don't work if the position glows in the infrared range. That's why thermal camouflage has gone from being an additional measure to a basic condition for survival. Going back to Ivan's goggles, he modified the circuit wiring and added a battery. This resulted in night vision capability. Basic, but useful for detecting mosquitoes that are hunting and for tracking people's movements at night. Obviously, they're not specialized goggles, but without a doubt, it's better than nothing, which is exactly what they're getting from their leader, Putin. Speaking of drones, combat occurs not only on the ground, but also in the air. Ukrainians are battling Z-Horde drones for airspace control over Pokrovsk. Neither side wants the other to conduct reconnaissance over their positions, leading to violent clashes whenever they meet. Medieval style in the rear. The police also help recover the remains of the Shahed drones shot down the previous night, but of course they first remove the warhead. Recovering the fuselages identifies their origins and lets the military reuse parts. The naval front. The French Navy intercepted a Russian oil tanker in the Mediterranean, suspected to be part of Russia's shadow fleet for oil exports. Despite the sanctions, the French Navy boarded and searched a Russian oil tanker subject to international sanctions and suspected of flying a false flag. President Emmanuel Macron said on X, "The operation took place in the Mediterranean high seas with support from several allies." He added, noting the vessel was diverted. The oil tanker Grinch is the most recent Russian-linked vessel intercepted by the United States and European powers in recent months. It was located between the southern coast of Spain and the northern coast of Morocco in the western Mediterranean, and was later diverted, according to a statement from the French Maritime Police. In addition, after the team boarded and checked the documentation, doubts about the legitimacy of the flag were confirmed, stated the Maritime Prefecture of the Mediterranean. The vessel is currently being escorted by the National Navy to an anchorage point for further checks, it added. The term shadow fleet describes hundreds of old and unregulated oil tankers from all over the world, in various states of repair, that transport oil from Russia to countries like China and India. Many use different identities and flags. Are they trying to avoid Western sanctions on Moscow? The tanker intercepted Thursday was sailing from Murmansk, northern Russia, reportedly under the Comoros flag. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky celebrated the interception. He said this action showed the determination needed to stop Russian oil revenues from funding the war in Ukraine. In October, France detained the sanctioned oil tanker Barakai off its west coast, then released it a few days later. The ship, reportedly flying Benin's flag, is also suspected of launching the drones that shut down Denmark's airports last year. Russian President Vladimir Putin called the oil tanker's interception piracy. Sacre, Blue Manchuria on the logistics front. In mid-January, the Czech President Petr Pavel, during a visit to Kiev, indicated that the Czech Republic would be willing to sell 4 fighter jets optimized for intercepting drones, apparently referring to some units from the 24 Arrow 24 Alka operated by the Czech Air Force. However, on January 20th, the Czech ruling coalition, led by Prime Minister Andrej Babiš, firmly blocked any transfer of Alka aircraft. The official reason was that the Czech Air Force depends on its fleet of L-59S for pilot training and light attack missions. Also, production of this model had ended. Therefore, the surplus aircraft would be cannibalized, but the management of the manufacturing company announced they would be cannibalized. These similar dominant demands? Wrecking. What? No, the instructions are that planes can't. Prejudice. Luftwaffe. More NATO standard? In addition, its operating and maintenance costs are significantly lower compared to the L-19. Regarding its combat capability, besides fulfilling advanced training tasks for fighter pilots, it can carry out light ground attack missions. Most importantly for Ukraine, it can also serve as a drone hunter. Aero already presented a drone hunter configuration at the Dubai Air Show in November 2025, where the Skyfox featured Fabrique Nationale Herstal 12.7 emitter machine gun pods, 2 launcher attachment unit, 32-7 rocket pods for APKWS, 2 guided rockets, and a Phoenix laser reconnaissance and designation pod by Synaf Technologies. The company recently supplied more L-39 Skyfox fuselages to Czech state-owned LOM Prague in early 2026 and 3 other previous batches during 2025. So the production line remains active and with orders. Having this aircraft would clearly benefit the defenders, since it would relieve part of the air defense burden they are currently covering. The F-16 and Mirage 2000 are aircraft that can use APK laser-guided air-to-air rockets, WS Falco, as well as Sidewinder missiles. More importantly, they have Link 16, allowing them to get information directly from Ukraine's air defense network to coordinate in real time with anti-aircraft artillery units to avoid friendly fire issues. Also, to find their assigned targets faster, subscribe. For those who want to see additional content, we invite you to subscribe to our Patreon, where for just $1, you'll have access to more uncensored war videos. Also, don't forget to visit our store, where you can find items from some of Ukraine's most outstanding units. Carry history with you, and with every purchase, you'll be supporting the United 4 program, which directly supports reconstruction programs, aid to the civilian population, and defense. Remember to like and subscribe.